Flash. Dun, 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 dun. Ah, defender of the universe. But I did it myself. So Grant Gustin, guys, has come forward. He was actually recently asked during a fan event if he was able to be cast in James Gunn's DCU, who would he want? And immediately he's like, Flash. And which is funny because he kind of was like kind of over it after 9 seasons of the CW. And, you know, I almost kind of feel like he would fit into this universe more than Ezra Miller's Flash, but Ezra Miller is coming back as well. Did a whole interview saying they are, upset about what they went through. They've understood, they've gone through the gauntlet, they understand what they've done wrong, and they're trying to come back. But, you know, Ezra Miller will never be back in this new DCU. I know Snyder fans want that, probably. They're probably excited about the Snyderverse still existing. I get what you're saying, but I know Superman is going to spawn off a whole new universe. Can Grant Gustin actually fit in this universe? I don't know. I feel like we might want to get somebody else, get somebody new to put into this universe to be the Flash. You have new cast as it is coming in. So, like, why don't we try something different? I like him as Flash. I think he's good. But if we're moving forward with Corn Sweat, with a whole new world, we got to find somebody else. I almost feel like that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Maybe we just not. You had your time. You had your place. I liked it when it was. You gave up on the Flash. Let the Flash die in the CW and let the new Flash rise again, because we will have a new Flash. But maybe I'm different. Maybe people agree with me. Maybe they love him so much they want him back. Superman's out, guys. People are already saying that Superman. Okay, before I go into the panel, people are saying that Superman's woke because James Gunn had an interview where he said that Superman's an immigrant that comes to the new world. This is the whole thing, that Superman came to the universe and he's like trying to find his way. He's calling it the story of America, about someone that came from a different country, different world, different universe, and is finding his way and finding kindness. He was lost, and now he's coming here. And to me personally, when I hear this, I laugh. I'm like, why don't you just watch the movie and look at it that way? And don't listen to whatever James Gunn says. He's talking about, again, look at Snyder. He's like, he's an alien that crash landed and he became Superman. It's the same thing. He's an alien that landed here, that found his way. He embodied the red, white, and blue and was about hope and drive and aspirations and going after the American dream. That's what Superman's supposed to be. And when people start saying it's woke, I'm like, come on, he's Superman. He is hope, not woke. He's hope. So when I hear that, I'm like, please stop. He also said that he loves that Batman script, so that's good for James Gunn. I hope that Batman script's good. But guys, what do we think? DCU. We talk about Marvel. We gotta talk about the DCU. Look at Paul. He's put his hands and his face already about this.
It's so frustrating, man. People that say woke and use it in that way, I mean, what are you talking about? Like he's saying factual things about a character, and people are like, "Oh, that's not the relate the character." I don't know what people want anymore. Like they want Superman to be, I don't know, not Superman. They want Homelander. They want Homelander from The Boys. They want, I don't know, manufactured. Like, It's just so weird. And I was listening to Fox News, unfortunately, earlier today, talk about how it was just ridiculous. They were putting this agenda in the movie. I'm like, the agenda that he's an immigrant?
That's who he is.
That's who he is.
That's who he is.
It's so, I just wanted to put my head through a wall. Like, what are you talking about?
People want to fight just to fight sometimes. And I honestly, at the end of the day, like, I think the best thing about Superman is he's supposed to be like a symbol for like how we can be better and how we should be the best versions of ourselves. And he's always been that. The Zack Snyder films took a sidestep to that for a long time because it was like more dark and broody and all of that. And it lost that Christopher Reeves type feel. But I hear it, Paul. I haven't seen it yet. You have. Do you think that we're going back to the Christopher Reeves universe, and if people think that, they should stop, go to a theater and watch and give it a chance? Or do you think that, you know, maybe James Gunn had a different agenda planned?
I mean, if his agenda was to show that Superman is a beacon of light and hope and joy, yeah, he nailed that agenda. I as far as like an agenda beyond that, I don't know. I guess you could talk about the definition of immigrant, I guess, or whatever that means. But that's what Superman is. He comes from another gonna not curse.
That's
He
fine if you
comes
do,
from
man.
another
We're live.
planet. He comes from another planet. He didn't have his papers. He's an immigrant. I don't know the way to
And an
describe
illegal one is that.
He's illegal, whatever that means. And it's just ridiculous. James Gunn's like one of the best filmmakers working today, and in my opinion, without spoilers, this is the best superhero comic book movie I've ever seen in my life. And we came out of that movie like thinking it's going to make $1 billion. Like, that's how it felt. And
it felt like that, really. It's a big statement, Paul.
Yeah, and maybe not, but it feels that way. And it's nice to have a little hope in the world right now because we don't have a lot of that.
I love that, though, because that's what Superman's supposed to be, is hope and drive and American dream and all that,
Yeah.
Like someone that comes from a small town that rises up and he's fighting for America. That's what he's all. They were saying like the whole world, of course, the American dream, the humanity and all of that. But I keep hearing that people keep saying that it makes you want to believe in we're a great people, like, overall, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can sit there and have this pessimistic view of the world, and I honestly think a lot of the characters in the movie have that opinion and that feeling, and I think that's why Superman stands out amongst them, because he does things that most people do not care about. He protects all life. He cares about everybody. Empathy is now looked at today in general as something as weak, and he sees it as a strength. And I think more people need to look at that and look at themselves and be like, am I living up to this standard of being a good person? And David Cornsweet brought that. He brought the vulnerability of Superman, Clark Kent, whatever you want to call him. And there's just this feeling of joy throughout the movie that he brings, this aw shucks feeling, And I don't know. A lot of people want the Henry Cavill Superman. And I'm like,
it's a big movement.
He was just not my Superman. If he's your Superman, great. I think he is a very good-looking guy. He looks like Superman, but I never felt like he was Superman. Not the Superman that I know from the comics, and I thought that's what I got.
Could you see Grant Gustin working with him as a Flash Superman dynamic, or do you think this is just an actor hoping to be cast in something?
I would love to see Grant Gustin come back in some form as like a news reporter or something and just show up as a cameo. I don't see him as the Flash. Honestly, I got really, I don't know if you watched the last few seasons of The Flash.
I did.
They're really bad. They're really bad.
It was tough to finish.
People have a lot of opinions about Grant Gustin as the Flash. He was great, but those first few seasons are where it was the peak. Like, after that, it just went downhill, in my opinion.
I think that, of course, he's going to say, like, oh, I want to come back. Of course he does, now that James Gunn's launching this whole universe, and I get that. And I think he gave a lot to the Flash universe, but personally, too, I feel the same way you do. I'm like, you had your time, you had your place, it was great, you gave a lot, and, you accept that for what it was. It'd be like what happened with Smallville. Like, he was Superman at that time, that was great for him, and, you move on. Yeah,
bring back the one from the movie, the last Flash movie. We need to move on from that. No, we're not bringing Ezra Miller back. We're not bringing Ezra Miller back either. Yeah,
that's a sore subject for Sean. Sean said June can't come soon enough, and June came, and it went so fast.
For the movie. And then we were all disappointed and everything because it was a big laugh, a big goof 'em up. Anyway,
yeah.
No shade. No shade.
No shade. GR, how do you feel about
Brian,
this?
I think what happened with this whole woke bullshit is people forget this is a land of make-believe. And they're trying to take today's political bullshit, and I don't care what party you believe in, and apply that to a movie about a guy that didn't exist. For Christ's sakes, guys, lighten up. It's a movie.
Yeah. And really, GR, it's supposed to be like making us smile and laugh and have a good time back at cinemas. And it's Superman. How long have you loved Superman, GR? Let me ask you that question.
Well, I go back to shit. What was I? The first time I saw a cartoon of Superman, I think I was 3.
There you go. So,
and that was 67 years ago. Yeah, 5. Yeah.
I wasn't going to date you. And, and he was always a symbol of hope for everybody and how we can be the best version of ourselves. So I always loved Superman. And if James Gunn can encapsulate all of that and make you feel that again, like you're that kid again, isn't that enough to make you smile and go watch a movie?
Well, that's why we're going tomorrow, isn't it?
That's why we're going.
To enjoy something?
Yeah. Do you feel that?
And who knows? I may be this time tomorrow. I could be eating my words, Brian.
You're gonna be eating your words tomorrow, G. I'm saying right now, you're gonna be eating your words. You're gonna be like, James Gunn is the man. I'm gonna have you sign something.
I don't know if I go that far, but I may say he did. I might say he didn't shoot a blank.
Yep. How about Grant Gustin, CW Flash? You think he should be in this whole universe?
No, get some new person. A new actor and give him a shot.
Yeah, and he kind of got sick of it doing it too, which I get after 9 seasons, but he still looks good as Flash.
He had a 10-year run. Let's move on.
Yeah, that's what happens. I mean, that's what happens to actors, right, Sean? They have an opportunity, they do it for a long time, and they move on.
Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, you haven't seen Superman yet either. That's all this whole universe we're talking about.
Sorry.
But do you think that Grant Gustin could fit into the James Gunn verse? Do you think that James Gunn would even consider him to be back as Superman?
I think if he's back, okay.
I mean, Flash in that universe.
Yeah. I think if he comes back, it could be like a little cameo, a little nod, like they did with, when they had the original Flash actor from that show up in his show, right? And they did the Flash of Two Worlds thing. That'll be a fun little nod to it. I don't think just because he played the character doesn't mean he's, should have it or gets to have it or has a leg up on whatever. If the guy wants to do it, have him give it a shot though. But yeah, I didn't watch any of that Flash. I didn't watch any of that CW stuff. And
so you didn't see the crossover event? You didn't see that when they actually met?
Because they did tease it as an Elseworlds, and I go, oh, you have my attention. And then I looked at the costumes, and I go, what the fuck are we doing here?
One more time for you right here. There's that costume, and then
it's a little bulky. I'll be honest. That head, something's going on with that head. That poor man. And
you see them together.
That whole scene was the worst fucking thing I've ever seen. That was just trying to sell tickets to Justice League at that point. Honestly,
but it's amazing they did that, though, Sean. Right? It's amazing they actually did it.
It is amazing, and if Grant Gustin gets to come back for whatever James Gunn's got, go for it. I don't really know how Flash fits into any of James Gunn's plans. I'm not even sure if he's mentioned the character at this point either. This could all be just conjecture again. The man has made himself chronically available to everything. That's not exactly true, Edward.
The power of running. I love that. The power. Exactly that's true. The power of running.
Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what the plans are. I'm not against it. I don't think he's owed it. But I am very much for if we are trying to do a clean break, get some new talent in there, except for Viola Davis. Let her do it until she wants to stop. That's fine.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
I got your back, Viola. Anyway,
as you're in the eve of Superman launching too, you hear what Paul's saying. He's excited about the reviews are out there. It's audience is 96%. I see on Rotten Tomatoes, which never always gauge it on that, but I like to watch that too. 86%.
There's also the recency bias of it, right? I think that there's also been a huge. Reddit constantly is telling me that there's this huge coordinated effort for people to try and destroy this Superman before it's even out, and it's all these.
The Snyderverse is going after them too.
I don't give a shit. These things can exist, and they can. It's great that you like this one. It's fine if you like the other one, but these characters are universal, and they can be adapted and will be adapted long after until we are dead. So it's okay.
There's a real Superman on the right.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, nothing wrong with Christopher Reeves. That's fine. Quest for Peace was a mistake, but that's okay.
It was a choice. That's what it was, Sean. It was a choice.
I was just talking about that one.
Yeah,
right, Paul. It was a fucking choice.
You grow up. You have the characters that you grow up seeing. Hell, you know what? If you had asked me 30 some odd years ago, I would have told you Dean Kane's my Superman. All right.
No, you wouldn't have. That's a lie. You would never tell me.
Lois and Clark. Come on, that was a hell of a. The chemistry was amazing. I was very young.
It was great chemistry.
But no.
But you're a Superman.
What?
But your Superman was Dean
George
Kane.
Reeves.
That was a whole joke. But like when I'm 8, it's not like I've got an affinity for understanding of the Christopher Reeve Supermans, right? I'm just watching whatever the fuck my parents are putting on the television at that point.
That's true.
Regardless of what that man has done and how many times he's gotten a DUI. I don't know. Grant Gustin, go for it, buddy. Go for it. It's
I don't think.
Just fucking again. I've made this argument so many times. Appreciate the fact that we exist in a world where we get these kind of stories, that they adapt these kind of characters for us, and it's amazing that the amount of content is out there for people like me, which you couldn't have said in the 80s, early 90s, or something like that, right? You couldn't imagine where we could be today based on what we were getting back then, and it's amazing. And there's accessible characters for everyone. They have made a mountain of strides to make things more diverse and more acceptable to younger audiences, and I think that's fine. That is perfectly fine. You look, you can find a Superman for you. You look, you can find a DC universe for you, and we got to see how James Gunn plays it out. That's the short.
I agree, man.
All right,
I agree.
Soapbox is over. There you go.
The soapbox is over, he says.
Soapbox is over, my man.
As the only person in the room that has seen Superman, Paul, tell the people right now why they should watch Superman.
Ooh.
And how you feel about how James Gunn has found a new way to present Superman to a new generation.
Well, no pressure.
No pressure.
I think the reason people should see Superman is, first of all, give it a chance. Don't go in with expectations of what you want Superman to be. Just see it as is. And I think going in with an open mind is really something that a lot of people don't do nowadays. But I think this is bringing back a form of entertainment that we haven't seen in a while, where it's just full of joy and hope. And we haven't seen that in a Superman movie since the Christopher Reeve films. And I personally think that the DC universe has been saved. And if you like comic books, if you like James Gunn, if you like things that are quirky and weird, you're going to get that in this movie. And you're not going to get a by the numbers necessarily film. And it's all the better for it.
Love that, Paul.
Excited, man. Very excited.
I'm excited. Yeah. I'm not excited for Grant Gustin. I don't think he's going to get that role. Sorry, Grant Gustin. But I am excited about Superman. So thank you, Paul. I appreciate you bringing that forward. Anything that you want to say before we leave off, that one thing you're going to be excited about that's not spoiler? One thing. I'll attack you from across the screen.
Yeah,
I will log.
Crypto
Just kidding.
Is everything.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. Crypto is everything.
Good.
Dog lovers will want to see this movie.
I can see the little twinkle in your eye.
I'm excited for it too, guys. Thank you as always, Paul. Thank you for being here. I'm excited for Superman. I'm excited for Grant Gustin. I hope he gets a chance. At least let him audition. Give him a chance.
Why?
Why not?
Well, give him a chance.
Why not?
Why not? He's put 9 years in GR. Give him a chance to audition. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
He's so yesterday.
Well, yesterday is tomorrow, which is today. Superman's out, guys. Check it out. We'll see you tomorrow.
Whatever.
Grant Gustin wants to be back as Flash. We don't believe it, guys. You tell me what you think. I want to know what you guys think at the end of the day. Will you want him to be Flash again? Let me know. Are you excited about Superman? Let me know.
Yo, player, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we are live. And if you are able to join our Patreon, please join. Because the Pep Star needs more snickety snacks. Because I'm hungry. Holla back. Love y'all. KRUSE Control Show. KRUSE Control Show.